If you've clicked on this video, I am assuming you are considering applying to either Oxford or Cambridge, or just curious about learning about the two. If you have made this decision to apply, congrats, that is huge. Whether it was influenced by yourself or maybe a teacher who believed in you, it's such a big decision, so well done for that. It is really important to note, however, that you can only apply to either Oxford or Cambridge. Both are really similar institutions and have so much in common, hence pairing them together, but there are big differences too, and that's what this video is about. It is about helping you think strategically and critically about how you might choose between the two. Before we start, just a bit about who I am and why I'm doing this video. My name is Éireann, this is A Student Journey, a channel dedicated to supporting you on your own student and application journey, as well as sharing parts of my own. This video is all about supporting you, obviously. I have completed an undergraduate degree at Cambridge University, a master's degree at the University of Oxford, and I'm currently studying for my PhD at the University of Cambridge. But much more importantly, for the last 7 to 8 years, I've been working in access and admissions to higher education, supporting students to make these big choices and put forward a strong and competitive application. So let's get into the 4 main points. The first and most important thing to consider is course choice and course difference, and actually I would argue that this is something you need to do before you choose any university. So in my time working at open days or working to support students, I have had students come up to me and say, I am not sure whether I want to apply for Oxford or Cambridge, I really don't know what to do. I know I want to go there, but I don't know which one. And then I say, well, what subject are you looking at? What course are you applying for? And I've had students come back to me and say, either PPE, so politics, philosophy and economics, or HSPS, human, social and political sciences. So those are 2 different courses at each institution, but they are so different and they shouldn't actually be compared. It should be the case that you choose your course first and then you work out where offers your course or a course that very closely reflects it. So to zoom in on that example of PPE at Oxford versus HSPS at Cambridge, they are both very different. Yes, the one thing that kind of connects them is having politics in the title, but they're still largely different. If you're unsure about which you should be going for in those 2 subjects, I'd think about what it is that you're applying to at your 4 other university choices on UCAS. If it's the case that you're applying for something such as international relations, that is much more well covered in the HSPS course, and I would prioritise that. However, if you are considering something such as PPE elsewhere or even economics, I would think about, well, one, applying for PPE, but also if PPE is the best way for you to access economics. So both Cambridge have an economics course, but also Oxford have economics and management. So look at the course in great detail, think about the differences, and use that to guide which institution you go to. That being said, of course, there are courses that both institutions offer that have, pretty much identical titles. So what we're going to do is look at some examples of this. The 3 examples we'll be looking at are psychology, engineering, and English. So if we start with psychology at both universities, what you can see is at the University of Cambridge, the course is called Psychological and Behavioural Sciences. What's great about the website is both offer a kind of course outline or course structure. If you look at the Cambridge one, what you'll see is every student in their first year will do an introduction to psychology paper, a psychological inquiry and methods paper, and then choose 2 papers from around 9 options, some examples given below. What you can see is it's very social sciencey, with politics, philosophy, sociology on offer, but also quite biological with evolution and behaviour and the anthropology. Looking at the Oxford website, you can now see, if you click on structure, they give you a typical week, which is also really helpful. What you can see is that you have your first year, second and third year, and then the opportunity to do a Masters of Science, which is really cool. So there's an integrated Masters available at the University of Oxford. What that means is essentially you can go on to do a 4th year, and usually that's covered by student finance, so you don't have to take out a specific master's loan, you are just doing a 4th year of your course. That's really cool and definitely something I would want to know if I was looking into psychology. So the course is titled Experimental Psychology, which suggests it may be a bit more lab-based, perhaps more sciencey, and you can see that in the papers on offer in your first year. So you've got psychology, philosophy, linguistics, neurophysiology, probability theory, and statistics. Of course, in both universities, you will be doing statistics. You'll probably be doing a bit of neurobiology and neurophysiology. They're just coming up at different parts of the course. Also interesting, you can see some lab-based group projects happening in your third year of the Oxford course. So in those few minutes we have already distinguished that yes, the courses have different names. One offers you an integrated master's. It may be the case that Cambridge do as well, and it's not publicised, but from what's on the website, that is what is being suggested. In addition to that, there are some key differences in first year papers as well as opportunities for projects in the final year. We'll move on to English now. Again, the courses are very similar, but what you see is at the University of Cambridge, the course is just called English, whereas at Oxford, it is called English Language and Literature. So that already suggests there will be some differences in the approach. What you have at the University of Cambridge is 2 compulsory papers. So your Shakespeare paper you're doing quite early on, and then you have a paper titled Practical Criticism and Critical Practice, which I can tell you is a fantastic and really exciting paper if you're somebody who in your A-level or other studies have really enjoyed looking at unseen text and really enjoy looking at the theory of unseen text. This is a fantastic paper, and as far as I'm aware, something you repeat every year, or as you can see, it pops up again in the third year as a compulsory paper. If you're not too sure about how you feel about unseen text, have some time practicing with the ELATs, which is the English Literature Admissions Test, that I know Oxford definitely do, and I think Cambridge do as well, but double check that because it does tend to change. Looking over at Oxford now, again you've got a really helpful overview of what a typical week looks like, and you can see in your first year you've got a paper called Introduction to English Language and Literature. So you can see there's a bigger emphasis on language in this course. Both courses kind of take you through the years, through different papers, and then there are differences in final year papers. Cambridge offer a really nice overview of what they've offered before. Both universities are very clear in that this is always subject to change, so don't kind of put your heart and soul into things too much just because if an academic moves institution, it may be the case that something's no longer on offer, but it's really helpful to kind of seeing those areas of focus and seeing what may be on offer by the time you get to your third year. Finally, we're going to have a look at engineering. I am not a scientist, so bear with me in trying to dissect it. So we'll start with the University of Cambridge, where we've got a course outline. What's great is both offer an integrated master's, so you can see a 4th year available on the Cambridge website, and then a 4th year available on the Oxford website as well, so you know that that's a similarity they both have, and actually most universities will do that for STEM-based subjects. Looking at the first year of Cambridge, you can see you have got 4 papers that are 3-hour written exams, all have fun. Those include mechanical engineering, structures and materials, electrical and information engineering, and mathematical methods. If we look at the University of Oxford, we can see mathematics again, electrical and information engineering, so again very similar, structure and mechanics again, but then we've got energy come up and engineering practical work. So similar to experimental psychology, that is suggesting to me that there's a bit more emphasis on being in the lab and kind of getting the work done. I can't say whether that's true or not, this is just my impression from this website, but again, something worth investigating if you are a student considering engineering. With a course like engineering, I would also look into opportunities beyond the structure of the course. So are there opportunities to, say, learn a language, to talk about engineering in other languages, as many engineers do work across the world, or maybe there's an opportunity to benefit from placements and internships. Do that work into those more vocational subjects just to see how it varies in terms of travel opportunities, language learning, and perhaps internships. Finally, there are some courses that are only actually available at one institution. So Cambridge offer things such as architecture or veterinary medicine, and Oxford offer courses such as fine art, or actually quite a lot of joint honours courses that you can't do at Cambridge, including courses such as English and history, or some really kind of wacky combinations such as philosophy, psychology and linguistics. I think that's what it's called, but yeah, PBL for short. The next thing to consider is location. So this probably won't vary for that many people, as both universities are accessible to really big cities such as London and Birmingham, and even key airports if you are travelling from elsewhere. However, just do reflect on your own situation. What is easiest to access for you? What makes more sense if you are happy to do either course. Similar to location, I would recommend getting a feel for the city and seeing how the two vary. Again, both institutions are much more similar than they are different. However, there are a few kind of different feels that you get from them. So both are old, historic university cities, but to me, Oxford feels much more like a city. It's slightly bigger, it's slightly busier, it's got kind of more roads and infrastructure, whereas in my opinion, Cambridge is much greener and quieter. That being said, both have a variety of green spaces, both are very cycle friendly. Accessibility does vary, and if that's something that you need to be aware of, I would definitely do the research in advance or perhaps take a visit. There are some really useful guides to specific buildings on the Access Able website, so I would recommend looking at that in advance, or just calling up, say, a college or a department if you have any particular concerns. The final reason I want to put forward as something to consider, but definitely not to overthink, is just how the admissions process vary at each institution. So at the University of Oxford, humanity offers are, standardly 3 A's, whereas for sciences they vary from 1A star and 2 A's to 2 A stars and 1A. At the University of Cambridge, however, humanities subjects ask for A star AA, and science courses are looking for 2 A stars and 1A. Additionally, there's some variation with admissions tests, with things like the TSA, Thinking Skills Assessment, being more heavily relied on at the University of Oxford. But admission tests and interview practice can vary across college to college. So again, I really wouldn't overthink these differences. What I would really emphasise is that you know yourself best and your teachers know you really well also. They would be predicting you grades that they believe you're capable of achieving. So if you are absolutely in love with the English course at the University of Cambridge, but you're nervous about your ability to get that A star, have a talk and sit down with your teacher. Do they think it's possible? What might need to be done to ensure you do get that A star that you've probably been predicted if you are in a position to apply? It would be such a shame if, you applied to Oxford, you exceeded that 3A and got A star, maybe another A star and an A, and did the course that was, your second favourite. Of course, both are fantastic universities, and getting into either of them, is a great opportunity, as is going to any university. But do prioritise what it is that you want to do. Have a very thoughtful reflection about your ability and what it is you might be able to achieve, just because I think a lot of people want to play it safe and stay within their comfort zone. So just spend some time weighing up those factors. I hope this has been helpful for those of you considering applying to either Oxford or Cambridge, or just those of you who are curious about finding out more about these institutions. Don't forget, there are a number of videos specific to applying to Oxford or Cambridge on my channel. Do subscribe so that you're updated on as and when these videos come out, and do just like, share, comment, particularly if you have any questions related to this video or any videos that you'd like to see in future. Thanks so much.